It's time to check your money with America's money maven, Vicki Brackens. Vicki Brackens is the president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and a registered representative of LPL Financial, member SIPC. Vicki, since we last talked, something has happened in the atmosphere. The autumnal equinox has occurred.
Oh my goodness, you are right on time, George, with the autumnal equinox.
You love that? Autumnal equinox.
Yes, I do. Okay.
Wait, well, let's do it. Let's do it.
Things are falling. Okay.
So
although that's a glorious time of year here in Central New York.
You know, go ahead.
I don't think there's a place in the world where you can beat better colors and bright flourishing flora falling. I mean, this is a beautiful place to be in at this time of year.
My daughter, who lives out of town now, she's actually coming back to do the traditional fall thing. What do we do in Syracuse in Central New York in the fall? What two activities?
Apple picking.
Thank you. All right. And if you had said pumpkin patch, that would have been the other one.
Pumpkin patch, okay, right? But apple picking, going out to Beef and Skiff.
Yes.
Get my apple pie. Okay, I don't tell them I'll give them an advertisement today. Get my apple pie.
Listen,
because that is the place to be. Okay.
I get my apple pie and I sometimes get, don't let JT hear, but sometimes I get the Alamo sometimes.
Oh, okay. I'm sure JT, he's probably in Belize someplace, so he's not going to listen to this morning.
Right. Somewhere.
Somewhere around the world. All right.
All right. So what you got for me today?
George, we've had an action-packed week. I mean, we started out actually last weekend with everybody here back for CBT coming back together as far as the alumni, Black alumni of Syracuse University.
I heard you in the place to be.
Yeah, and I spoke to them on Friday afternoon, really about something that I call CBS. Come back to Syracuse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but all the changes, and you wouldn't believe what, as they call serendipity. Deputy Mayor walked in at that point in time, came up on stage and closed the deal.
Did she?
Always come back to Syracuse. Yes, she did. All right. Then we had on Saturday the WMBE conference there with Bishop Dewberry, and on Monday, I mean, this time of year is really action-packed. We had the 100 Black men with their annual golf outing out at Skaneateles Lake. And I thought maybe I'd get to take a breather. But then I looked at my calendar and I went, wait a minute. This week is the week. We've been talking about it day after day. As far as the market chatter is concerned, this is the week that we were going to hear from the Federal Reserve for the first time since 2020, seems like such a long time ago, 2020, about the possibility of rate cuts. And the question was not would there be a cut, but how big of a rate decrease there would be coming out of the gate as far as the change in direction versus tightening, now loosening the money flow into the economy. So we got our answer, and the answer was
a pretty aggressive one, huh?
Well, yeah, okay, because it was a little bit of a surprise. We were really looking for, and had been, the word on the street, as they say, had been probably a 1/4 point cut until very, very recently, until early in the week. But finally, it ended up being pretty aggressive, as you said, or more aggressive than we expected, at a 1/2 point cut because of the recent data around job softening and the fact that inflation has really decreased much more than probably anybody thought it would, okay, based on some of the complaints and some of the things that you've been hearing on the political spectrum. But we are now in a position, because as you know, the Federal Reserve's responsibility is to manage two things, employment and inflation. We're at a point now where they believe that the best thing to do would be to provide more liquidity into the system through a lowering of rates. Now, what does that mean, George?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Probably already seen, if you happen to be in the housing market or out looking for a home right now, that mortgage rates have dropped considerably and will do so more over the last few weeks, and I'm sure going into the future. You will also probably see, lots of folks locked up a lot of cash in fixed rate products like CDs and fixed rate annuities and money market accounts. And those rates were pretty good for quite some time. But I've already seen that on the renewal rates, they're starting to drop into the 4 levels, where before they've been in the 5 to 5.25, maybe even 5.5 for 1 month and 18-month CDs. What you also are probably going to see, though, which is not good news, but the fact that on your credit card rates, those rates are probably not going to drop as fast as you think that they should, because banks are not quite as eager to drop rates on credit card
right
payments as they are on payouts, as far as your CD rates and things are going forward. But they will eventually. So pay attention to special offers, cashback offers relative to consolidation, because I do expect that those offers will start to become more advantageous to consumers going forward. So that was one of the big things that happened this week. Here's another thing.
Yeah, that was a pretty big thing, but go ahead.
That was a really, really big thing. Okay, actually, I said, who was that used to say really big? Okay, but anyway, okay.
You mean huge, Billy
Yes,
Fusillo.
huge. Yes, Billy Fusillo. Huge. Okay. Here's the next thing. As a reminder, this time next week, a week from Monday, the student loan relief program, known as On-Ramp, okay, will expire. And that means that if you have not been paying attention, what is it, George? Like 3 years now, because the Biden administration,
about 3 years,
went through many iterations of different types of ways to either have loan forgiveness, loan consolidation, all types of things to increase student loan programs that would benefit millions of Americans, which it did. I know tons of people who had their student loans forgiven. But there was also a period where we were supposed to get back into repayment, and they wanted to ease everyone back into repayment. Well, that On-Ramp program expires 1 week from Monday. So here's my admonishment to everyone. Pay attention to your mail. You can't ignore it anymore. There are no more extensions. You've got to get back on track. Get with your loan servicer. I told you this a year ago because we thought we were going to have to step in, and they extended it one more time. Get with your loan servicer. Make sure all your records are up to date. Make sure that you understand exactly where you stand. Have your loan reviewed so you are very much aware of where you stand if you still owe anything concerning your student loans. All right, George.
All right.
Here's the last thing.
You got something
for me? Take a breath
me?
here.
All right, let's do it. Okay.
Okay. All right. Take out your calculators.
All right, I'm ready. Here we go.
This is one of those working conversations.
All right, let's work.
As you remember, last week we went through an exercise to really give everybody an understanding of what it would take and what they should use as a benchmark for how much they should have saved based on an age category within their retirement plans. Okay. If you recall, I said that if you were 30 years old, you needed to have at least a half a year's salary saved in your retirement plan by this point in time. If you were 45 years old, you need to have at least 2.5 to 4 years of your salary saved in your retirement plan by the time you reach age 45. And finally, for those big numbers, if you were 65 years old, you needed to have saved at least 7.5 on the lower end, up to 13.5 years of salary saved in order to be on track for your retirement and within your retirement plan. Why those numbers, first of all?
Yeah, why?
What you're trying to do, what we're all trying to do, is to create an income stream that we can't outlive. To make sure that we have money into perpetuity until we leave this earth, that we have money that will be there to sustain our retirement throughout our retirement years. And we're all, based on the longevity numbers, living longer, so we need more. But one of the things that I may not have said clearly enough that I assumed everyone knew, my problem, is that when you are looking at these numbers on an annual basis, as far as how much salary you have saved, that if you have annuitized payments that are part of your retirement plan, that you need to convert those annuitized payments to a cash equivalent and add that cash equivalent to your overall savings that you have, your supplemental savings, to determine if you have the proper amount saved for retirement. What's an annuitized payment? Anything that gives you a guaranteed payout on an annual or monthly basis. A pension plan is an annuitized payment. Your Social Security payment is an annuitized payment. So let's take an example here, George. Let's say you had a pension plan that was going to pay you $500 a month.
Okay.
This is the way that you would convert that to a cash equivalent.
Get your calculators out. All right, let's go.
Got them. Dust them off now. They don't start smoking.
Okay.
$500 a month times 12. That's how much you would receive a year, which would be $6,000 a year, correct?
Yeah, right.
Okay. And then we need to convert that to a cash equivalent. What kind of bag of cash do we need to have set aside that would create that $6,000 a year? We use a factor of 4. So if you take that $6,000 and divide it by 4%, you should come up with $150,000.
Yes.
Is that what you got, George?
That's what I got.
Okay, so now write down 150,000 because that's what that annuitized payment equals to in a cash bag or a cash equivalence.
Okay.
Do the same thing with your Social Security. Let's again say, I'm just going to use a rounded number, $500 a month I'm getting in Social Security. Times 12, 6,000 divided by 4% is giving me another $150,000. So now you would take those two numbers plus whatever you have in your 401k or your 403b or your 457, plus anything that you've saved on the outside basis, maybe in your IRA or your Roth IRA, add all those numbers together and then compare it to if you're 65 years old, 7.5 years of your salary. So if you were earning $100,000 a year, that means that you would need to have $750,000 saved, up to $1,350,000 saved as far as the 13.5 years. If you are on track, great. If you are not, then we need to work on how to fill the gap. But now with having that cash equivalence as part of your calculation with your annuitized payments, you can see the entire picture of what's going on with your retirement savings. You got it, George?
Got you.
Okay. All right, then. If you have questions, give me a call.
I was going to say before. Well, don't go ahead. I was going to say, you have breaking news?
Breaking news?
You said you have breaking news. No?
No.
Oh.
No.
Oh, no, but I was going to say, what you said last week, before you do your number, real quick, is that you should have, all of those plus, you said about $1 million and those other numbers, but most people you said had about 90,000. Not most people.
That's true. Okay.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, most people, okay, even though we have the benchmarks there of 750,000 to 1,300,050 as far as what's needed, the average American right now has $90,000 saved for retirement.
And they need 1.5 million or whatever.
Exactly. Okay.
All right.
So we are a long way from where we need to be, but if everybody starts to pay more attention, hopefully we'll get closer and closer. And if you have questions, let me try it now, George. If you have questions, give me a call at area code 315-930-4499 or at info@brackensfsn.com. And please make sure to share and subscribe to this podcast and to us on YouTube. Okay, George, I'm tired now. Calculations, Monday date, rate cuts. That was enough for this week. Our plate is full.
Vicki Brackens is the president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and a registered representative of LPL Financial, member SIPC. She is America's money maven.